So let's say, is there one side that you have more limitation on?
I have more left.
More left into, okay. So I'll show you what this looks like first, right? So to actually get femoral internal rotation, you need to set things up where the femur is the thing that's doing most of the work, and it's actually contracting into rotation. So this strategy here can get that length and load into the hip, but it's getting internal rotation indirectly by getting length into the hip extensors. So what you want to do here is you have to get into a sideline position on the elbow. So not up like this, on the elbow. And then what you're going to do here is you're going to initially just get that contraction of the foot into the ground. So when I contract this foot into the ground, I'm loading the external rotators at length. So I'll start there in a mid-range position, and then what we'll do is we'll actually rotate the pelvis back. So we're getting that relative internal rotation of the femur. Okay? Hold that there, and then we're contracting down through the ground. We're pushing that foot into the ground. Okay? Now because this really isolates the demand into the femur, sometimes it can be painful. That's why we might not want to start with this if you're limited. We might want to get that length and load into the glutes first in more of the sagittal plane. Okay? So if you go on to right side lying there. And also the key thing here with this as well, so we want the knee, the thigh in line with the trunk. Okay, so you can put the hand on the side, yeah, and we're kind of in a mid-range position here, right? So what we're doing is we are getting the knee at 90 degrees. I'm going to have you gently build force down to the ground with this foot, and just hold it there. We generally want to have the glutes stay nice and relaxed. You see your glutes are kind of contracted there. That's telling me that he's struggling to get that load into the deeper gluteal muscles. There you go. You want a nice squishy glute. Right, you want to put your hands in your glutes and you want to be able to poke into it, right? Do you feel that kind of a bit deeper in the hip now? Yeah. So you kind of have to almost try and relax the superficial glute. And the way you do that is by gradually increasing the tension to the ground. If I said to you, kind of crush that down harder, you see how this kicks in? So if I say to you, relax this here, relax this, try and relax, get that relaxed, and slowly build pressure down. Slowly build, slowly build. You see how that kind of stays a bit more squishy now? You hold that there, 30 seconds, we'll see how it feels. Okay, keep monitoring that glute to make sure it stays nice and loose. And then what we do is after 30 seconds, we try to kind of start to progress into further range of motion. So now what you do is you can let the pelvis, so relax everything. Now let the pelvis start to rotate this way. So you can put the hands on your hip, you can put it on the side of the ground as well, whatever is easier for you. Let your chest come with it as well. So what that's going to do now is it's going to twist the pelvis here. Because this knee is staying down, it's getting a deeper internal rotation. So then if you slowly build that pressure through here again, do you feel that kind of deep into the hip?
Yes.
Yeah. This stays nice and loose. But it's an intense kind of internal contraction almost in the hip joint. But this is what you have to do if range of motion is still limited into internal rotation. And then we just gradually go back from there. So we gradually get a bit more rotation of the chest as well and the pelvis. And then it's a slow building of the pressure here. Slow build, stays nice and squishy. And you feel, clients will say it feels like a deep contraction into the glutes. Good, and relax. Okay. And then after we do that, obviously, if you lie into your back there for me, I didn't assess it before, but then you would naturally come back and say, okay, I want to see how it feels. I want to make sure that it's not I want to make sure it's not worse. Does that feel better than it usually does, or is it about the same?
Better.
Better. Now, external rotations. We can see the pelvis moving around a bit, but I think that's when we see the pelvis start to hike. But good internal rotation. But even let's say if we had good internal rotation, but when he does activities, he feels like his hip locks up. It may be because the deep internal rotator muscles or the deep external rotator muscles are struggling to contract locally. So you'd use that as a way to get that local contraction of the deep rotators, external rotators.
That's the first time in my life I can feel that.
Feel the deep, yeah.
Because I've done the FLC course before.
Yeah.
It's all hip flexor.
Yeah. Or people will get the glutes. Yeah. The most common thing you'll see is when people will do this and they'll squeeze their glutes because they're pushing down too hard. You have to monitor the glutes with your hand and slowly build pressure into the ground to get the deep into external rotators. Because that's what's happening there is you're lengthening the external rotators and then you're building pressure down slowly, and the glutes should stay relaxed, and then you'll feel that internal, like that deep contraction of the muscles. Okay?